Destin one. Destin. Destin 1 2. Destin 1 2.
Trinidad Rio. Merry New Year, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is straight, die-hard, genuine, authentic Kaiso. And this is how the story goes. I went to public utilities and tell them disconnect them facilities, cause me want them. I tried to contact the ombudsman, but never in office. Are going to file me an injunction on the public service, cause every time a heavy rain fall, by me don't have no current at all. They spoil my TV, they spoil my fridge, they nearly kill me with low voltage. Now before they make me a lunatic, I'm going back to basic. going and get a flambeau and lamp with wick. I'm going back to basic. I call me fans and I call me friends to let them know that if they have a message to send, tell Tempo. And if they come home and then you see me, tell me neighbor, or get a pen and a writing pad and write a letter. Cause PSTT does make me weep. Gone are the days when old talk was cheap. I make a phone call to Talparo and I get a phone bill to Mexico. Oh my lad, before they kill me and kill me quick, I'm going back to basic. A piece of marling and two climpan wouldn't do the trick. I'm going back to basic. I went and buy me a motor car for my own comfort, because I can't take no more torture waiting on transport. But all them potholes and all them bump, me car ain't able until they invent a car to jump. I go travel. I beg the Lord to please put a hand, touch the hearts of this spare parts man. I used to have a raise in the bank, now every cent gone in me gas tank. Now I prefer roller with piece of sticker. I'm going back to basic, or buy a 3-speed bike, go in tick tick tick. I'm going back to basic.
Welcome again once more to douglAR Radio, right here in Atlantic Studio. And of course, we welcome our viewers, our listeners, our commentators, and even those who will call and make their contribution in relation to what is happening in our country. Well, of course, as you know, today was supposed to be the launch of the Library Constituency Office, but this have been postponed as a result of the late sitting that is presently ongoing in our parliament, where our leader and our members of parliament would be occupied until sometime around 8 o'clock tonight. So we have cancelled that operation today, and of course that in the very, very, very near future we will give you a fresh date where the activity would take place. And of course, you will be welcome to be a part of that historic event in the constituency of Library. Okay, so we do apologize for any inconvenience, but it has become necessary in order to facilitate our leaders at that opening in Palo Seco. So be that as it may, today I am here, and we will continue to look at some of the affairs and the things that is affecting you in our society. You know, I was listening today, and on social media looking at a Express newspaper interview which Keith Rowley has labored the frustration on the ground, and he deemed it more or less from an irritation standpoint, suggesting that the country, they are irritated simply because, according to him, he suggests that the problem is messaging which government officials use inappropriate language. That is how Rowley deem it, inappropriate language. Well, I want to start by telling Keith Christopher Rowley here this afternoon that not only he is disconnected from the population, the citizens of this country, not only that, but not only that he's out of sync or out of touch, not only that he seems to be confused by believing that the idiotic statements by his ministers and even him, because I saw Rowley speaking and telling this country that people in social media speaking about we waste gas 7 times and that must be so. The normal idiotic dotish behavior that he portray every time he is cornered and every time he is caught and every time he wants to bully and to bold-facedly express that dotish attitude against the population, as though the population is responsible for what is happening in this country. Keith Rowley, the problem in this country is you and your government. The problem is not watch the idiot. Watch.
That might be true.
Yes, Mr. Honorable Prime Minister, you and your wicked administration jacked the price of fuel 7 times. You took pleasure and joy saying so. That is true. But Auntie Cam and her administration spent 5 years in power. She never jacked the price of fuel once. So I don't see nor understand why y'all had to jack the price of fuel 7 times. So we taxpayers' money can pay y'all so y'all could afford your lavish lifestyle. Housing allowance, you're living in mansions. Traveling allowance, y'all driving $1 million vehicle. Meal allowance, and y'all working for a salary. All courtesy us. Remember that I am not going to hush.
So Rowley believes that the problem in this country is that the people are irritated based on language that has been used by his minister and himself. Well, Rowley, let me see if I could help you to understand here this afternoon. The problem, Keith Rowley, is not the bucket of hogwash that Brian Manning, Shamfa Kojo, Keith Scotland, you and others spoke. That is not the problem, Keith Rowley. The problem, Keith Rowley, is you. The problem is Beckers. The problem is Manning. The problem is Alwari. The problem is Norbreaker. The problem is Scotland. The problem is Hines. The problem is Stuart Young. The problem is Rohan Sinanan. The problem is convent girl, according to Arnold. The problem is all of you folks.
But the problem could be that Balija's juice, you know. Because it has some people looking normal, and as they go in the PNM, they get dotish. Like that attorney general they have. I really thought that man was a bright man. Since that man around, I thought he bright. As he go on in the PNM, I never see a dotish lawyer like that.
That is what the PNM do to individuals. You
Or
see?
is it just Cosa Nostra?
More than that. You see, what the public does not understand is that when the PNM goes through the process of selecting individuals for ministerial portfolios or for parliamentary portfolios or members of parliament, the PNM, ladies and gentlemen, would select the people that they know that they can control. They will select individuals who the Prime Minister believes would swear allegiance to him and not to the people of the constituency. They would select individuals who they considered to be puppets. So let me break that down. When you look at the screening process for Labre in the PNM, you would have seen a strong contender by the name of Lee Hunt. But you know that Lee Hunt had some issues with Keith Rowley. And Lee Hunt was asked to submit his resignation and have it on Rowley's desk by morning. When that occurred, Lee Hunt seek the people of Labre support to endorse him as the candidate for the constituency of Labre under the PNM. While the people of the PNM had done just that, when it reached to Keith Rowley, Rowley discarded that nomination forthwith. Not only discard that nomination by telling them go and look for candidates, wasn't Lee Hunt a part of the Rowley cabinet? Wasn't Lee Hunt given a ministerial portfolio under Keith Rowley? But how come Lee Hunt wasn't qualified to be that candidate for the PNM in Labre? So let me help you. When you see, ladies and gentlemen, you disagree with Keith Rowley on any given topic or situation, what eventually happens is that they banish you. They discard you. You could be as qualified can be, but you would never be able to be selected once that X goes by a name. But why? Why? Let me help you further. Archie have a clip that he will play for you. And that clip will help you to understand when you break ranks. That clip will help you to understand when you go outside. That clip will help you to understand the operations of the PNM. And then it will help you to understand at the same time, while none of those members of parliament under the People's National Movement would stand up to any wrongdoing by Keith Rowley, which the list is so many. But that clip will help you that when you break rank, that they kill you, they execute you, they finish you off politically. And if you continue along the same path, then there is an officer in the army who was killed because he was persistent. He was persistent in exposing two children with high power machine guns. So you will understand why Lee Hunt, who was just in Rowley cabinet, who was just a minister, who fall out with Rowley when Rowley put together this way forward COVID-19 gangs. And when Archie played this statement of the Cosa Nostra, you will understand what I am speaking about. If you have it, Archie, run it.
A code, a mafiosi code. We keep each other's secret. It's only when you break rank, you go there and expose us, and for that, we're going to kill you politically. It's the code of the Cosa Nostra. As long as we stay together, we will survive together. And we agree not to breach the code of secrecy.
Victor,
Tell me.
I find that kind of in the background the song the same way all the time, boy. And anything this man say, he could say, we had 2-2 for you. Yeah. But taking back to this Officer Samaru, what was the official cause of his death?
One report states suicide, and another autopsy states where there were blunt trauma force to his ribs and a gunshot somewhere to the back of his head.
But were any ballistics done on this gunshot to the back of his head so as to determine the arm that fired that shot?
Well, let me help you a little bit more. One of the same individual who Rowley well, let me fix that statement good because he came and says not him, is the PCA. So, out of Rowley's statement, one of the individuals who was hired to investigate this gun business, this fuel business, that was the same individual that conducted the investigation into Officer Samarudet. That same individual end up with an apartment somewhere down in Victoria Keys. Some multi-million-dollar property. You see, this is how the thing operates. When Samaru was killed, and that report, I want to let you go back in Trinidad. Go back and look at it.
You say killed. You have no fear.
I am saying
killed.
I am saying killed based on an autopsy report that was made public.
Now, the name of your show is Facts,
Not Fiction.
So you saying that the man was killed.
Killed.
And no investigation to
There
find
were
out.
an investigation. There were an investigation.
But I do understand. You tell me the autopsy say the man was beaten to death.
Not
How?
beaten. The autopsy state that there were blunt trauma forced.
Okay, but that's consistent
Right.
with someone being
Right.
beaten.
Right, so he was beaten. But also, there was a gunshot wound to the head. Now, when they did the investigation, this same whoever this big defense force man was, and they did that investigation.
Wait, you say defense force man, right?
Defense force.
So they did their own internal investigation.
Right.
Now, I vaguely heard you said that some defense force man fired a shot at you.
Well, I wonder if it's the same man. I said I wonder if it's the same man. But I comment to that. I will come to that. So the first report stated that suicide. That was an investigation conducted by somebody in the defense force. Some superior, top brass in the defense force. Coincidentally, it is the same man who did some kind of gun investigation for the government. It is the same man that ended up with some big apartment down in Victoria Keys.
That ever came out in the media?
Well, let me tell you what I know came out. The suicide part came out, and there was a small little chunky story that state where a second autopsy was done.
What triggered the second autopsy?
Simply because probably there was some fraction who did not satisfy with what was put in the
Was
public
the second
domain.
autopsy privately requested?
Yes, it was.
Well, that might be the problem.
Yes,
you see,
it was.
the family of this soldier probably requested a second autopsy. And when that second autopsy was done, it showed something inconsistent with the first Cosa Nostra autopsy.
Right. And when that happened, I don't know what happened.
Well, something I am confused here.
After
If it
that.
is, and it's not an official autopsy, but it was done by a professional person, so it's a second opinion. To me, that warranted a new police investigation. Because you see, I know these army people have their own internal investigations and things. But if army man shooting at you and killing on behalf of the state, allegedly, then them investigating themselves, right? You see what I'm saying is, if an official report came out that it was suicide, then a subsequent autopsy report came out saying murder. How come there was no investigation into this murder in inverted commas? Now, I think I heard that the gunshot wound to the head is inconsistent with self-inflicted.
And not only that, it was inconsistent with the we have a thing we say right-hander or left-hander.
Well,
It
that's
was
what I
also-
mean by inconsistent with self-infliction.
Right. So the point I'm making out of this whole story is that when this second autopsy came out, what we heard is that there were going to be further investigation. Just like what we heard with all the...
That song is so familiar.
Exactly.
Very familiar. It's always further investigation. It's been investigated. Investigations are ongoing. And to me, them investigations will be ongoing till, I don't know, till Jesus come back. Because look how long ago there is cogent, airtight, prima facie case made against certain ministers for undeclared money and all these kind of things. And these investigations are ongoing. Yet you're running on a man who just, when it comes to, let's say, a UNC person, man, that in the news morning, noon and night, 25 headlines and immediate arrest. But hear what? After the arrest, the case could never come. I know it have UNC cases. I say in UNC cases. There were people from the UNC who were charged and dragged in handcuff and pull out and still have their cases before the court. These cases don't call, right? There are a lot of people who are UNC, former UNC activists, charged, but their cases don't ever come.
Brother, let me tell you something. Officer Samaru brought information and made it public. Coming out of that, we had a picture on our front page with 2 children.
Now, hear what I'm saying. You see that Officer Samaru and whatever information he revealed, I feel he may have said something that we don't know yet or weren't aware of, that he just had to die. And now I just theorizing, but I find those 2 alleged children who were seen holding some big automatic rifles, to me that resemble the rifles that they seized from a businessman. I wonder now if there was some kind of connection. There's something there.
Well, I wouldn't speculate thus far, but what I will say is this. Samaru brought information to the public domain. Coming out of that information, there were 2 children on the front page of the newspapers. Those children were alleged to be the children of the Attorney General Faris Alwari. All right? Good. Let me go. Coming out of that, shortly thereby, the person who was responsible for bringing that information to the public domain were found dead. I want to stop right there for the time being. I want to draw another illustration right there. So this was alleged allegations against Faris Alwari children. A minister of government, an attorney general. Right. The person who brought that information died. Full stop. We had 2 boys who identify a particular individual. And as soon as that individual was identified, these 2 children were murdered. Well, let me put it this way. They die. As soon as this was made and people were made to be aware of whoever this short, stocky, dreadlocks man, these 2 children die. Officer Samaru identified 2 children, and he also died. All they see the 2 children here? All they see them on the screen? Officer Samaru brought information. Those pictures appear. And next thing we hear, Samaru kill himself. That's what we hear. But an autopsy that was done by a pathologist, qualified, trained, licensed pathologist, tells us that Samaru had blunt trauma forces to his rib section, broken, damaged ribs that was caused by blunt trauma, whether it be beaten with a gun butt, whether it be kicked with steel-tip boots, or army boots, or police boots, or garden boots, or even the boots that the minister now use. I don't know. An autopsy tell us that. We had the first reports, the first investigation, which concluded was suicide by a man who was just the other day appointed to do some investigation with some firearm license. The said man, the said defense force man, have this big apartment in a gated community, $1 million apartment, doing an investigation. The police who have the investigative authority to investigate, to go to the court, to seek warrants, to go to the court and get documents, to seize items, and to go before the DPP and get charges preferred. They were not given the responsibility but men handpick, whether it be by a prime minister or the instruction of a prime minister to a so-called independent institution, handpick.
Now, Roberts, I know I'm not too familiar with this. Maybe you might know a little more, or some caller might be able to explain something to us. But when it involves army personnel. I know they have their own personal tribunal or some kind of, they have their own court-martialing or something. But when it comes to committing a crime like murder, doesn't the police have to step in?
The police have to step in. The police have to step in.
And next thing, you was just saying some particular individual received an apartment in Victoria Keys. What is he, a soldier personnel?
A big ramrod in the defense force.
Right. Now, hold your horses there. First, to begin with, I want to know what is the criteria, because the man could probably pay for it, but what is the criteria for people to be eligible or to get one of these things? Is it that you go in the papers, you go NHA, you apply? That is one question. Second question, how does these people explain their wealth? If you is a taxi man and I see you living in number 1 Woodbrook, isn't that something that raises a flag?
My brother, let me back up a little bit and give you a little bit more clarity. While there would be process in gathering or securing, getting, anyhow you want to put it, any house, from any institution, there is a process. However, what we have is political manipulation, where a prime minister could tell he minister, let me give an example. We heard Gary Griffith said recently that he was bullied by the prime minister to fast track some firearm license for his friend and also to get some kind of weapon to kill pig. That wasn't through the normal process.
But
that wasn't the process.
A prime minister bullying a commissioner to break the law, something sounding strange on both sides.
I dealt with that last week. But the point I am making is this. While there are processes to go through in order to obtain something, let me give you an next example. We had an example where someone from the license office was saying that he was asked to do some underhand method to have a car transfer for a government from a
man dressed up in a sharp suit, resembling a member of parliament.
Exactly.
And you know something? The officer, who we understand is a straight, no-nonsense man, refused to do it. But you know, at the end of the day, it was done.
It was done. And that is the same thing I'm saying. So to get a house, boy, all you have to do is to be obedient. You are placed in an authority. You have an authority, and all you have to do is to be obedient to the one who wants you to be obedient, and the one who have the authority to give or to ensure you get. And that is where the problem lies.
But anytime I hear about this Victoria Keys, is always some person who is well connected politically living there. They get these places. We hear about the lady who have twins for some high-ranking government official live in Victoria Keys. You know, the question that had to follow there, them paying for them thing or taxpayers paying for that?
Whether the taxpayers paying for it or them paying for it, I will tell you something. What is happening is that people is losing their life in this country for coming out and speak out against the corruption of the government, the corruption of the high-ranking officials, the ministers of government. people are losing their lives, and it's all under the cover of the carpet. They continue to cover up every aspect. Welcome, caller. Welcome, caller. Welcome, caller. All right, we lost that.
Hello?
Welcome, caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, caller, go ahead.
Yeah, good night. Victor. Yeah, Victor, good night. Food for thought. Let me tell you what is going on. Samaru was not the only soldier that lost his life in that scene. 4 other soldiers also lost their life with that. Who they find hanging in the house. It was just a crazy mess.
What?
So you should look into it.
You hear what that man saying, Victor?
I hear him too clear.
The man say it's not only Samaru. He know of 4 other soldiers who lost their life in similar circumstances.
Well, brother, let me tell you something. This ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing new. I just tell you, the people of this country, that 2 boys identify a man, a short, stocky dreadlocks. You know what dreadlocks mean? A short, stocky Rasta man. Identify. And that happened today, and tomorrow the 2 boys will murdered. Murdered.
Oh, I wasn't too familiar. But how these fellas, these 2 guys met their demise?
Brother, these 2 young boys, first of all, were abused. They were sexually abused by whoever this short, stocky Rasta man, whoever he may be. And after that incident broke, what happened is that these boys were found murdered. Now, I want to say something inside of all of this. That investigation is another investigation, Archie, that is ongoing. That is another one of the ongoing investigation.
Well, Victor, if every investigation is ongoing and things are happening every day, then technically what you're telling me is these things will never have no closure, it will never have no conclusion, unless is a UNC thing involved.
So let me make it plain.
So I mean to say, by making it plain, what you're just trying to tell me, that Cosa Nostra thing ain't just real, they practicing it.
These matters will never have any justice. That is the word. Those matters with Samaru, those young boys, there was another incident where a guy was poisoned in protective custody. I don't have the facts with me, so I will leave it for now. But to the end of the day, those incidents will never have any justice whatsoever. No justice. You know why there will be no justice? Simply because of the players who are involved. In other words, because of the individuals, the perpetrators of those acts, as a result of who the status in society, as a result of where they sit, those investigation will be just as the A&V investigation, ongoing. Those investigations, just like a vigilant, those will just be investigations that is ongoing.
So,
and anytime you ask Jacob, Can you tell us, sir, what is the status of those investigations? I am not at liberty because they are ongoing. I am not directly involved in the investigation, and therefore I will not be able to speak on it. But what I will tell you is that the investigators continuing to do their job. That is what you're going to hear.
And it is at a sensitive stage.
That is all you're going to hear. That is all you're going to hear. You ain't going to hear nothing different.
So, of the whole police service, you see what I'm trying to figure out is, it may have one or two officers that might be on the political take. But I don't know, I never really come across crooked police, something like that. My image of police is they are upstanding, well-serving people. But what I find confusing is, how come none never like pursue something to, or is it that if there's a certain case, they give it to certain police officers, and they wouldn't give certain police officers certain cases because these officers are straight? So in other words, what you're trying to tell me, it have a cadre of officers inside there that are PNM officers that investigate, in inverted commas, any instances with respect to PNM.
So let me help you again. In the judiciary, there are certain judges that would be appointed to deal with particular matters. In the police service, there is particular police officers that will be responsible to deal with particular matters. Within the magistracy, within all of that, you will find certain magistrate will deal with certain matters. Some may even be asked to recuse themselves. So let me make it more easier for my boys on the street to understand. The justice that you get on the street is not the justice that the PNM would uphold for their own. Let me bring back that again. The justice that you will get on the street, it is not the justice that the PNM would bring for their own. You see, when you hear about the Cosa Nostra, you look at it as some fairy tale. But what is actually happening in this country is that there is a hardcore amount of individuals, and they are to protect the image of the PNM. Their job is to ensure that the casualty of society is not the PNM, but the people who would bring the allegations against the PNM. I hope all again what telling all here today, you know.
Yeah, but something confusing me there.
All right.
The former commissioner is a straight shooter. He's a distinguished gentleman. He's a no-nonsense gentleman. And he was head cop for about 3 years. And you want to tell me, if what you're saying is true, he didn't discover that group of officers that are political and conduct political witch hunts?
So let me answer that question. All that you say about the former commissioner, about distinguished and uphold and straightforward and all that, I just kick all that through the window, and I want to tell you why. I kick all that through the window because if that same straightforward gentleman, law-abiding, upholding the law, could come and tell me on a program or on a TV or on Facebook that he was bullied by the Prime Minister to fast-track gun license and to get this and to send explosive in Tobago for some man without permit, and that same man in lockup, the same Prime Minister, then that man was never, as far as I'm concerned, was never what you just described him to be. That's my position. Because you can't tell me a man who is above board, a man who will attack every social media comment, a man who will you will see on the front line posing with a firearm, and yet to the end of the day, all this happened, and you never tell us nothing until they kick you out. You come to tell we. You come to tell we after they kick you out that Rowley is the biggest mistake, and Rowley wanted to bully you, and Rowley want you to send explosive without permit, and Rowley want to fast track, and Rowley want to fast trick, and Rowley want to do all kind of things, and you look up Rowley. Boy, I don't even want to discuss he. I don't even want to discuss he. So what you just say about he, I throw that through the window.
But if he say that with his own mouth, that is like admitting to crimes. How come the police not taking up these things?
I just tell you. You know what Jacob will tell you? A report will have to be made. He will tell you, a report will have to be made.
But when you make the report,
listen, wait.
send you back to do the investigation.
Wait. He will tell you a report have to be made in order for us to investigate. Right? But when they find somebody dead in the bush, decomposed, can't identify, can't this, can't that, how come they start an investigation? How come an investigation does start? So they start to look at missing persons, and then they start to look to see if there's anything that could identify what could match with this. Then they start to contact people who missing people to come in, and if you have any marks or if this and that, all that is investigation going on, you know. Them just find that, you know, an investigation going on.
Correct.
Right? So the point I'm making is this. We have so many investigations from since 2016 ongoing. We have Camille Robinson wages $143,800 bank business, and that is still ongoing. We have Foster Cummins $4.4 million venture credit union, and if you ask a question, you will hear that is still ongoing. But let Victor Roberts go and deposit $60,000 in the bank without proper accountability for that money, and before Victor Roberts leave the bank, the police, let me tell you, Victor Roberts will be leaving the bank with the police. But you have Camille Robinson wages
and headlines in the media the next
and headline
day.
to the media. But you have Camille Robinson wages with $143,800. And today, if you ask Jacob, and that is since 2016.
I bet you that case would conclude saying there's not
enough evidence.
Statements, there's no evidence, there's no witness.
Brother, I dare any man want to put White State at test. You just go and borrow $60,000 from any one of your partner, and go to your bank and tell them I come to deposit 60,000, and they tell you what, follow this source of funds, where you get the money, how you get it, what that, and you say, hey, put my money in the account, me falling out nothing. They go in and tell you, all right, so hold on, we have to speak to the manager. And before you wink twice, you've seen two men with tie and long sleeve shirt come in and tell you, mister, come with us. Come with us. That is what they're going to tell you. Welcome, caller.
And he say, put my money in the account, me put it out. And then I tell you, all right, so hold on, we have to and before you think twice.
You had to take off your device and talk in the phone. We getting our feedback here.
Come in and tell you, Mr. Come with us. Come with us. That is what I'm going to tell you. Welcome, caller.
All right, Archie, you got to cut that call because we getting our feedback here and we ain't hearing nothing. The caller, you have to take down your device that you're listening on and you have to talk on the phone. Otherwise, we will get our feedback here. All right, so you could try again. Before you could walk out the bank, we have all these investigations, criminal of a criminal nature. And to the end of the day, all you are hearing, it is ongoing. But to the end of the day, let a man go and win some kind of big play with Mark and get a little piece of money. And go to any institution and tell them, hey, me ain't dealing with no source of funds. Why? This is my money. I just win that in a gamble. Put it in the bank. And you will see how fast. And you might very well pick up a money laundering. Very well pick up a money laundering.
Let a man go and win some kind of big.
Welcome, caller.
If you give me one saloon and
Get a little piece of money. And go to any institution and tell them, hey, me ain't dealing with no source of funds. Why? This is my
Caller, we having a problem there. You're having a problem there, caller.
He just have to talk into the phone and turn down the volume of his device.
Let me try this one. Welcome, caller. Welcome, caller. Caller, welcome. Now, problems. And that is the reality. So we have all these bacchanal. We have all these investigation. We have Samaru dead. We have the 2 boys dead. We have all these pile up of investigation. And to the end of the day, nothing taking place. Welcome, caller. Hello. Hello. Actually, you have to give me some volume or something. I ain't nothing there. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello,
I'm
good
hearing
night.
you.
Hello,
Yes,
good
caller.
night.
Go ahead. Yeah, I know what happening there. But that is the reality about things, Trinidad and Tobago. That is where we are. So it ain't nothing new. People lose their life for bringing the facts to the table, bringing the facts out there. People executed as a result of bringing the facts. Welcome, caller. Hello? Hello? So coming back to the point, when you understand what is happening, you understand why Lee Hunt was not able to be successful. Because the government want a group of people, the Prime Minister want a bunch of individuals who would keep whatever secret that needs to be kept in that organization. Welcome, caller. Hello. That call is something wrong. We ain't getting 3 them calls here today.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. We hearing you now.
Hello. Good night, Mr. Victor. Report boy.
Yeah, go ahead, Freeport.
Yeah, what's going on? You talking about $60,000? I did get injured, boy. And I got with $25,000. And the amount of question they asked me before they could take my money and put it in the bank is a shame. And here what's going on? The problem we have in this country, we have a Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and we have a PNM Police Service, and most of the investigation is the PNM Police Service
investigating it. So this is why nothing can come out. And when you talk about that soldier man, he was murdered. And it's the same thing that happened to the divers and them down in Petrotrin. They were murdered.
Right.
I don't know how much experience you have, Victor, but if I start to tell you what I know and what they should have done before these men start to work, them fellows would throw away all the documents and start to make over new documents. That's how much I could tell you. So I don't know what they're doing. And I had an experience. I went in the hospital and I meet Rishi Nagesa's mother by one of the divers. I hope I had the name right? And that lady was talking, and I hear her talking while I play Inquisitive. I go on. This lady say that one of the hardest things to cope with is every evening about 5 o'clock, there's a boy, she got some bowling. My father coming home just now, my daddy coming home just now. And the biggest problem about it now, they don't know how long it would take that boy to realize the father wouldn't come back home. And they had to hear that all the time. And you know, nobody going and talking to these people and them, boy. And they're trying to set up big investigation. And that would cost them $millions. Why did they take that same money and share it up between the 5 people and tell them, say, what happening? We can't bring back all your loved ones. Well, it have one surviving, but he on that trauma. Look, all you take at 10 million or something, and all you see how you could put all your life together. Instead of you bringing a set of people there looking for money for themselves. What, I don't know if you know the investigators and them, people like Ramesh and them, what experience they have in the oil field industry, underwater diving and in pipe walking and things to investigate that. They would be there only to find the contractor wrong. And I want to tell you one thing before I go. I can't tell you plenty, but anything that a pariah will say that the contractor this or the contractor that, if the contractor do satisfy pariah fuel with whatever work they're going to do, because that is a high-risk job, they cannot go and start the job. Pariah fuel has to be satisfied. So I don't know how much you know about that, but that is how much I could say for now. I don't want to take up too much time. I have plenty to say. I will say that next time.
Thank you, Freeport.
Hello?
Yeah, Freeport. Thank you.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains, as I said before, there is no justice that would be forthcoming to those who not in favor, those who does not support, and those who brought any allegation against the PNM.
I wonder if that is why they wanted to get rid of Dwayne Gibbs.
Welcome, caller. El Sikoro, go ahead.
Right? Hello?
Go ahead, El Sikoro.
Victor?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, loud and clear. I can hear you, man. Yeah, for sure. Got to be back on, right? So it's the Corey in the house. I just wanted to make a few comments around the ministers in cabinet, boy. I mean, you saw all the videos, you saw all the TikTok, you saw all the comments. Marvin, Keith Scotland, Shamswa, Colin Paris, all that, right? Stupidities, right? But I want to talk about Brian Manning, boy. I mean, Brian Manning is only there because of heritage politics, right? But I mean, Brian, boy, he's one panty man. I mean, we already say that PNM stands for Pedophile National Movement, Pothole National Movement, Perjury National Movement, etc., etc. But I don't know if I tell you this before, boy, but I find PNM stands for Panty Man National Movement, boy. Brian Manning, Simon the Nosebreaker, Randall Mitchell, Marvin Gonzalez, all these guys, these guys are Panty Man. Nigel the Freitas, Panty Man behavior. I mean, Brian Manning is one leg bombs here. Imagine the person you working for, right? The person who put you there, right? Work spirit lashing your father and allegedly kill your father. You give your father so much a headache and you went and like to Audi Bamsi boy. I said, nah, Brian, man, you one leg Bamsi. I remember I think Hazel Manning, right? Mother was a former minister of education. She didn't have to get any pom to become a cabinet minister. I mean, that's a different story. You understand? The thing with Hazel Manning is she'd have never tell school to stay closed at 7 o'clock in the morning when children leaving to go to school, or when floodwaters now coming down the road, or when he finished makeup she had. I mean, come on, man. Even Hazel Manning would have never made a decision like that. But I mean, Brian Manning, but use one leg ass boy. Sorry, I say use one leg bam. I mean, oh my goodness, you want to suck it up to them? I said, nah, man. Right? And next thing, I mean, Shelly Das is that particular, but if Brian Manning could gag you like Shelly Das, then Victor boy, I in for something good. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Elsico. God the arch. Right. And there would be no justice forthcoming, none whatsoever. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what it will take again for you to see clearly what is happening in your country. I don't know what it will take, but let me just close off Lee Hunt's point and I'll come to what I want to say. So, Lee Hunt had no chance whatsoever. And the reason why Lee Hunt had no chance is because Lee Hunt went against the Cosa Nostra. He did not keep the secret as he ought to. And as a result of that, he paid that consequence. As a matter of fact, he was kicked clean out the door. And if my memory serves me right, Lee Hunt was also a deputy political leader. But to the end of the day, what happened? To the end of the day, what happened? You cannot stand up. You cannot voice your concern. And once you cannot voice your concern on any given situation, to any leader, yes, let me say it again. Once you cannot voice your concern to any leader, then that leader has simply become a tyrant. That is what is happening. That leader has simply becomes a tyrant because, you see, let me tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. When Keith Rowley stood up and speak about this Cosa Nostra, and he explained what is the criteria and the consequence in one breath. So he tell you, here is where you ought to keep each other secret. Here is where you don't go against each other. Here is where if you go each other and break rank, then we kill you. We kill you politically. And the sad thing about that is that I am now seeing a whole batch of politicians who committing political suicide by not standing up against Keith Rowley decisions and policies on you, the citizens of this country. That is what's happening. So when you hear they telling you Rowley must go and Beckers may come, same shoes, just on a different foot. Same shoes on a different feet. That is what it is. Because why wouldn't Penelope Beckers stand up against the policies of Keith Rowley? Why won't Brian Manning stand up against it? Well, we understand why Alwari and Stuart Young and Imbot and them, we understand why they had nothing to say. But why the other batch of so-called representatives to your constituency, Why they are not standing on your behalf? When you listen Keith Scotland, telling you what is his solution, and if you can't buy a tank of gas, then go back to the coal pot because he are one. If you can't buy fuel, ride a bike. And I hear some idiot dotish clowns on Facebook telling you that look at China have bicycle, and look at here, they just ride bicycle to work and ride bicycle. You know the same clown who telling you that they won't buy a bicycle and ride to work? The same clown who trying to indulge your attention in that idiotic statement by telling you, look at China. They won't tell you why China riding bicycle, but they're telling you, look there, that's a big country, them are bike riding too. So what is wrong with a bike? But them would not go and buy a bike and ride.
Riding a bike is a theory, It's against the law to ride your bicycle in certain roads.
Boy.
Right? Riding a bike is for around a residential area on certain roads. Right? In China, there are bike lanes. And there are certain roads you can ride on bike.
Archie, be that as it may. And Trinidad and Tobago is not compatible to what is happening in China. Bottom line. 2, Trinidad and Tobago, the wealth that these clowns who telling you to ride a bike, who will not ride a bike, who encouraging you, who you mining, who you had to pay the bill. When they flush a toilet, you pay for the water that they flush the number 2 with. You pay for that. What the number 2 in that toilet, you also pay for that. The toilet paper, if they do use it at all, you pay for that. Everything that these men and women who sit in this cabinet do, you as a taxpayer paying for it. Welcome, caller.
You pay for that. What's the number 2 in that toilet?
Caller, you had to take off your phone, your volume on your device, and you had to talk in the phone.
Hello?
Yes, caller, go ahead.
I didn't hear no man.
Go ahead, we're hearing you.
Speaking into my device alone, I ain't hearing at all. Something wrong on all end.
Well, probably, but we hearing you. Go ahead.
In order to fix this situation here, the top rank of the police service from superintendent up has to be removed. The commissioner of police and the deputy commissioner of police, their jobs must be one that they must be elected into office. And all of them who are to be replaced should not have any political affiliation. Also, they must have a law degree and skills in business management in order to manage the police service in the way it ought to be done within the confines of the law. And when that happens, only then we might see a turnaround in the police service where they stop making excuses and blaming the tools that they have and all kind of different things and talking about there are no law, and they'll get up and go there and find criminals and bring them to justice. Have a good night.
Thank you for your contribution, caller.
That was some good suggestions,
Actually, if you look at Ghana Police Force, you will see young educated people, very young people who come in from that standpoint, and they come straight into the rank of file based on their educational background. And based on the degrees, they will come straight from a civilian, straight in as an inspector, as this, as that, as that. But remember, Archie, how things work in Trinidad and Tobago, how things work here is whoever they want and whoever they decide and whoever they choose is who will have the position. That is as simple as it is. But be that as it may, when you hear the utterance of these members of parliament and the hogwash that they continue to speak as contributions within the parliament, and the solutions and ideas that you will hear in these debates, it tells you the level of education that these fellas and them is probably total educational idiots, because You see, and then you have to really go back and see how people get the documents, Welcome, caller.
But even the stars go back in the house. On the topic of the bike, right? I mean, is one thing, okay, fine, they can really ride the bike. They go in China and thing, and Netherlands and etc. etc. Those other countries, right? But in Trinidad and Tobago, we don't have roads to ride a bike on. Duh, we don't have roads to ride a bike on. We don't have lanes to ride a bike on. I mean, man, we can't even ride a bike in the savannah because the grass, the recreational grounds are being maintained. So, we might as well use it, but even donkey cat wouldn't want to walk on these roads, Victor, or a rickshaw, or the horses. Man, I wouldn't, if I was to jump on somebody's back, they wouldn't go on the roads in Trinidad. That's all?
Right.
Right? Another point, Victor. I mean, all the points you're bringing up, we know this already. I just saying, I don't know offense to you. But the thing we really, I think the first step to rioting is to go at Bali's house. So, our next strategy we could look into, right, is whenever we haven't protests again with the ground reporter, with you guys or whatever, let's try going to Bali's house. You'll see how much police they're going to have there, right? But at some point, to really start this phase of rioting, the first place you have to go is Bali's complex. And let me see if we could shake the foundation there a little bit. What do you think, Victor? Let me hear you.
Thank you, Chico. In this country, let me take it one time. Welcome, caller.
Good night, Mr. Roberts.
Go ahead, Salaroti Sahina. Go ahead.
And your host, your co-host there is Archie. Good night, Archie.
Good night.
All right. 3 institutions have facilitated where we are in Trinidad and Tobago now. As Barra Jack does say, we're falling apart. The judiciary, the press, and the police service. And why I'm saying so, and you mentioned the police service there. The police service from the inception of the PNM has been a political group. You understand what I'm saying? A political group.
Mm-hmm.
It is to such an extent they recruit people out of the police service to run to parliament. You remember that? All of those, it probably happened on both sides, but more so with the PNM. And it started when they abused the police with the, remember the fellow named Patrick Solomon and his son, and he went to the prison. I think since that time with Tony Me and all of them, Eric Williams and them emasculated the police service. Look what is happening now. You remember the day of policing?
Right.
What was the reason for the day of policing? Negotiations. Do you think Alexander and this one and that one and I think it's Gideon will do another day of policing? Why they can't do it now? If they were pressuring the police service at that point, not the police service, the sitting government. You understand? It shows you quite clearly they under or they are an appendage of the reigning political party. And in order to fix the police service, people have to use some basically, I don't want to use the word draconian measures, but strategic measures. Look at the human resources inside the police and put brains as opposed to brawn. You remember, I think this fella, I think he gone to the grade B on his Selwyn, not Selwyn, John. He wrote a book on the recruitment in the police service. I'll get his name just now. And he said they had a tendency, in terms of the ethnic, choose big body men to come into the police. So they have to come out of that modus operandi, how they select people. And a gentleman previously say a law degree and things like that. I agree. Bringing some management talent, not at the constable level, but at the, what they call it, the first division officers and bring them and train them here, let them do the training in the barracks and things like that, but bring them into the service to add some management skills to the police. You know, one of the things the police say, you know, you say something, you see something, say something. I have called into it, I'm a police on a television show, and I talked to the superintendent. I say, I'm telling earlier, I see something and I'm seeing something. Police abuse the traffic laws of Trinidad and Tobago. Every morning on the urea bottle going north, you have a line of cars falling, a police car who breaking the law, and you can't charge them from falling to using the shoulder of the road. And you know what our superintendent say? He had to defend them because they must be going on an emergency. But I haven't gotten back to telling him a couple of vehicles, they do it every day. So every day they have an emergency going out. Go on and have a nice night.
Thank you, Sarah. So the bottom line, as I say, ladies and gentlemen, is that when you look at what the contribution that these parliamentarians, who are, a matter of fact, some of them being ministers, and when you hear the uttered rubbish that they speak in the parliament, you really want to know if it's some little Boy Scout or some little kindergarten child who on some field trip and get the opportunity to sit down in a chair. That is what they really believe, because when you hear what these people and them telling you, and to the end of the day, they benefit from every single piece of tax that you pay in this country. They live free. They live above their means. They have everything while you have nothing. They spend whatever they want while you suffering to even accumulate something to spend. They eat whatever they want. But you hear a dotish idiot telling you about bring your children together around a table and tell them you can't eat pie. You can't eat pie this week, and you can't eat that this week, and you can't eat that next week. But yet to the end of the day, they're eating every day the best meal. And the best meal that they eat, you paying for it. Is you, the taxpayer, paying for everything that they benefit from. The pants they wear, the socks they change, you paying for it. Every bottle of water they drink in the parliament is you paying for it. The air condition inside there is you paying the bill. The electricity, you paying the bill. The nice soft furnitures, you paying the bill. The mic that they switch on and switch off whenever they want, like it's them own, like they bring it from home by them, is you paying the bill. The red house leaking, is you paying the bill. When they were supposed to put solid brass and they put some kind of brass paint in aluminum, is you paying the bill. But yet while you paying the bill, they continue to implement pressure upon you. Welcome, caller.
Yes, sir. The Silver Fox here. Silver
Fox, go ahead, Fox. Go ahead.
Now, I will not be distracted by the comments of these ministers about bicycle, coal pot. Rowley has to go, right? They do all of that because of the gas price, right? For the people not to stand up for themselves. Distraction, only distraction after distraction. I am going to study the gas price and this property tax they want to come with, right? And all the people have to do, all the people in Trinidad have to do, drive your vehicle to Port of Spain and shut down. Sit down in other vehicle, shut it down, or you have no gas to go nowhere. Gas price too high, always shut it down, shut it down. We shut down the whole country. I don't want to hear nothing too much about coal pot. There's a tune Juve morning, cold pot. I don't hear nothing about bicycle. China overpopulated. That's why they don't even walk like that short. Because they can't stretch your foot far. Understand that. We have to get up. We have to get up as the people of this country. We are the government of the country. It's only 22 men have us in this position. This has to stop. It has to stop. And if it don't stop now, we will not get no election. Raul and them cannot afford to lose power. The things they are doing, they will stay in power. You will not have no election. You will return president and abandon the election. You have to get Raul out now. Trinidad and Tobago, this is the time. Shut down all the car all over Port of Spain, all on the highway. We have no gas. So we're going to stay here. Make sure and bring things to eat and drink. We're not moving. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. And this is what they're doing. So while they're telling you they have everything, every benefit they have, who in a personal chauffeur and still getting an allowance for traveling, who in eating and drinking and then telling you what to eat and drink, but everything they enjoy, every single thing they enjoy. But what you intend to do about that? You tell me what you intend to do. What's Shamfa Kojo? What's Shamfa Kojo? What's the package? Medical benefit, Tobago constituency allowance, 4,710, phone and internet paid by state. Watch it, an annual travel grant of 36,800 per annum, a housing, NEDA grant, 12,360 per month.
She have apartment in Victoria Keys, eh? That is where that housing is.
Victoria Keys?
Yes.
Well, that is the place.
So I wonder if they get that 12,360 in addition to being in Victoria Keys.
And this is it. These people
and they don't go in traffic, eh?
These
when
people
they leaving from there today, is they have police escort parting traffic for them to go, eh? So they don't understand traffic. They could tell you, leave home at a different time.
So that subsistence allowance at 2,000 per month. Tobago allowance 6,330 per month. 85 return tickets per annum by air to Tobago. A personal chauffeur. Transportation allowance of $6,660 per month. And a salary of $41,000. Tell me something. Caller. Tell me something.
Yes, caller, go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, caller.
Yes, Mr. Robert. Good night.
Good night.
I just want to make a suggestion. People don't want to go and gather in Port of Spain. They don't want to go and shut down the car, roadway, because the police and them seem to be in the hands of the ruling party. So this is just a suggestion. We designate 2 days every single week from Monday and do not face the gas station. Nobody should purchase no gas on them days. If we force the hand of the gas stations, if we shut down the gas station in terms of not buying gas on that particular day, them 2 designated days for the week, they will have to force the government to make changes. We have to take it like that. We don't go groceries for 2 days for the week. No groceries, none. And let the country know by way of business sector that we are serious about this thing. So you have to go and get locked up, you have to go and protest, you have to go and want no gas to go away because you don't have already. But something has to be done.
Thank you, caller.
Hello?
Welcome, caller.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller. We're hearing you. Go ahead, caller. All right, shall we go? So to the end of the day, they living nice, they living it up, they have what it takes. You understand? While you want to pay the taxes, it's on the next sheet there, actually. Bring it down, let me see it. You want to pay the taxes, and they benefit. It's on the next sheet right with that one.
Yes. Come in.
While you want to pay all the taxes, they benefiting and living nice. Nice salary, nice books, nice everything. But what should we have to pay? We have to pay income tax, corporation tax, health surcharge, NIS, VAT, business levy, green fund, motor vehicle tax, fuel tax, online tax, stamp duty tax, tire tax, custom duty tax, tax by the gas station, tax on the road, pothole tax, everything you're paying, pigtail tax, saltfish tax,
And property tax.
tax coming, everything, but they benefit. And you sitting down in this country, and taking that. They're driving tax free, fuel free, eating free. They're sleeping on the best bed. When you and some people in Labrador sleep on a plyboard on the pitch. They're sleeping in the best house.
Go ahead, caller.
Hello, good night.
Go ahead, caller.
Yes, I have an issue here to raise concerning that these things you're talking about, all these taxes on taxes on taxes. What we need somebody to do is to tell us, because our country is in a serious part, and if you go in depth and look at certain things and what is happening around the world globally, you would realize Sri Lanka a certain path that leading to maximum poverty. Now, in other countries, it's happening in Lebanon. In Trinidad here, no. Plenty people have been looking at a lot of talk shows and so on for the year. And plenty people say that going in the bank, they want to take out a piece of money. The bank tell them, you can't take out that now. And that's your money, eh? A lot of people getting check, they carry to the bank. We can't cash that. What is happening in our banking sector? In depth, how much foreign exchange this country really have? Because Sri Lanka crashed because of foreign exchange. Lebanon this week, people start to rob the bank, not to take other people's money, but to get their own money out. We have a food crisis where a butter in 1 month went from $8 to $16. Blue band. And a lot of things in the food chain is happening. Right now, it's a growing mass shortage. There's a lot of things that keep happening. We also had medical shortages. Now, if you know $1 billion, what $1 billion is, that is something people don't know, and let's clap when they start talking. $1 billion is $1,000 million. We don't have 1,000 million people living in Israel. I mean, you could take $1 million and give everybody. I'm not saying that they do that, but I just got to show you what $1 billion is. Where is all these taxes going? Right? And so on, it is with many other things that, because you know, our country is on a slippery slope. Very slippery. And nobody is talking about it. I never see the papers talk about we want to know more person. I don't know the papers. I never investigate why food prices going the way they're going. I don't know why people haven't get the proper response from the bank. When you call the bank or you're going to take out your money, they tell you can't take out that now. And that is your money. This is so amazing. And I think Mr. Silver Fox is right. Something needs drastic to happen. They be unhelped. We be unhelped right now because we don't have that information to publish. As a matter of fact, you know what? If you tell them the information, they're going to say you're lying. Because the cult is like that. You know? So I just hope that we could get, because some economic advice or some kind of enlightenment as to where we are and when we go forward. You know? The media is the next one. Being part of NJAC back in the 80s. There is all kind of rumors. You got to eat yam. You got to eat that. You got to wear that shit kid. I don't you think spread that. The same concept of the partnership did when they joined up with Kamala, when Dada joined them. It's the same thing they try to do. Educate the children. You cannot run a country with dumb people. But I will leave it for now. Have a blessed night.
Thank you, Kola. So they're doing to you what you cannot do to them. They're benefiting. They're sucking you dry. They're actually sucking out the future of the country. They're actually taking away the future of the country. And yet, as people, we will just sit there and accept all that is happening. They talk down to us. They abuse us. They put measures in place to stifle us. And yet, to the end of the day, you people wouldn't wake up and stand up and get up. You people will sit and die. You will be beaten to death by this government. And you will just lie down and dead.
A transportation allowance of $6,660. Right? Now, they move around in official government vehicles when they're doing official duties. They are also getting this tax-free vehicle with over $1 million off and all these kind of things. So when you really check up their perks, that thing crossed $0.1 million.
Take the call, brother. That is
Caller.
a joke.
Hello, good night.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, right. I was saying, I didn't know what was on. Okay, the preacher again here. I just want to make one more thing. I think I can put off you. Yeah. These ministers, right? In fact, all them government officials, right? They getting all these food, traveling allowance, yet they have a company vehicle and they're getting gas, just how they carry the bill, right? They're getting food allowance, house allowance, all these kind of things, and they're living in house. Plus, they're getting a hefty salary, right? If they're serious, if this country is serious, whoever coming to government has to fix these things, and we have to get rid of these things, that all that is a burden to the taxpayers. So these the people who make it and breaking the laws, telling us about coal pot and this and all kind of stuff in it, but they're not cutting the books and things. They could afford it because of the hefty salary they're working for, right? But the poor man had to always be the one who had to suffer with all of it. The poor man always had to be the one to be cutting grants, cutting intake, and then with all of that we had to pay no subsidy, so we had to pay more for gas and all these kind of things. All right, and we are burden to the citizens of the country while they eating lavish and they spending money, they getting tax break from vehicles, all these kind of things. It is absolutely ridiculous, right? Because you gain gas allowance things, but plus you using a company vehicle, right, a government vehicle, and then the government paying for the gas. So what you getting a gas allowance for? You understand? So all those things is just, I don't know. We have to get rid of those things. You understand? And then we're going to know how serious we are, and then we'll be serious in this country. Thank you very much. Have a blessed night, everyone.
Thank you very much, Kola. And Kola, you're right. You are quite right. Because all these different allowance, their money is above everybody else. All these different allowance. And yet to the end of the day, they will get millions of dollars off in whatever shopping or importation. When you put together that whole package that these people receive, it is more than robbery. It is more than taking away the livelihood of about 4 children. And these is things that must change. These is things that we must review. We cannot allow a government to benefit while you who put them there cannot eat, cannot provide, cannot send your children to school. They have all the grants. All. This allowance, that allowance, eating allowance, talking allowance, sleeping allowance, defecating allowance, every allowance they have. And yet they will not create an ease by saying, look, the key is to educate this population. So what we will do, while we live above here, let us at least raise the bar. So those who come in after us would be able to have something in society. No. That is not the policy of this government. The policy of this government is to bring you to the point where you have to depend on a handout. And that is why they break you into this hamper. Look a hamper, take a hamper, eat a hamper, come and sign in the book to get a hamper. Bring your ID card in the PNM office for a hamper. Give me your number, give me your phone number, give me your address, where you're voting, where, all that. And yet this country will sit down. This country will sit down and see how these individuals ripping this country off. How they can afford to buy handbag for 30 and 40,000. How they could buy outfit for 15 and 20,000.
I am seeing something going around social media that this Shamfa Kujo person sporting a purse, a little handbag that costs 33,000. I wonder if that is true or whether that is fiction.
Arch, you see from what I seen on this screen here, with transportation allowance, salary, annual traveling grant, phone and internet paid by the state,
and not
this
all,
constituency
not normal
allowance.
phone, you know. She allegedly had a phone bill for some $56,000 or something that the state had to pick up. So when they say phone allowance or whatever, there is big money involved there, because that is just one of the bill that we heard, some $56,000 phone bill or something. So phone and internet paid by the state.
Arch, let me tell you something. I deleted off my phone. I was now going to give you the exact figures. I was now going to give you the exact figures for that phone bill, that roaming phone bill. But I think I delete that. I think I print the document, and what I did, I print the document and I put it in my filing cabinet.
Now we just putting up Shamfa name here, but I assume all these ministers that are coming out and talking about sacrifice and calling your children around table, and all these ministers who is imploring us to have some faith in the government and be part of the adjustment of this burden, and I assume all of them would have similar packages like these.
But as all of these...
So you trying to tell me, Victor, let's say you is the head of your household, and you telling your children they can't get sweet drink to drink, they have to drink water, they can't get this, they can't get that, and you going in the rum shop and drinking and living it up is almost something like that.
But I think the money was some either 49 or 59 or something. But I had the document. But the point I'm making is this. These people continue to benefit and to enjoy life while they create hardship, and they create hardship on you without any form of caring about your life and livelihood. When you see what this budget has implemented upon the people of this country, and yet the people of this country will sit down, and I don't know if it's a spell, I don't know if it's witchcraft, I don't know if they're just naturally dotish, I don't know if the people become docile, I don't know if the people getting senile, but I am telling you, there was a bunch of students in 1970 who stood up against this type of oppression right in Trinidad. But today, I don't know if the students more studying the 30 grams and the 3 trees that Rowley allotted to be legal in this country. I don't know if it's that, but I am telling you, the people in this country, they are standing up for nothing. The people, I am saying that the parents in this country, they have become so wicked to the children that they would allow this government to implement these austerity measures. These measures that will be detrimental to your children within the next few years. And yet you are prepared to sit down in your homes. You are prepared to sit. You are prepared to beg. You are prepared to stretch your hand for a handout than to stand up for your children. What kind of animals these people have become? What kind? It seems as though that we are now becoming some kind of animal that we don't even care about the young ones. I have a dog. He get poisoned this week. And that dog...
Take a call.
Welcome, caller.
Yeah, good night. Good evening, Mr.
Yeah, good night.
Mr.
Go ahead.
Victor and Archie, Mr. Archie.
Yeah.
I in this Trinidad here, you would have had in 1962 independence, and they broke away from the colonial masters. Today in 2022, the kind of rhetoric, the kind of conversation, the kind of discourse carried on by those people who now hold the reign of government or governance. I mean, it's shocking, because I am saying that they are the new master, as it were. They are taking over from the colonial bosses. Because I can't, not one person making those statements. If the statement is the view of more than 7 or 8 people in the government, and the way, and I mean, I said, that kind of behavior is not something that is recent, That's been going on for the past 7 years. It's the worst I've ever heard in my life. I live in Trinidad for quite a long time, and I can tell you, I've never heard in the early days, I never heard Sally Wilson behave like that. I never heard Pantin and them fellas behave like that. I never heard people like all these people. I never heard that. The kind of behaviors that they reach now, they're in charge. And they behave worse than the slave masters. You have one who's probably in the Ministry of Finance, laughing at, I raised it twice, making mockery of the poor black people in this country here. I can't understand it. I mean, it's confusing to me.
Is he worse?
I don't know. And the people seem to be, they relish in it. They like that. And they are the ones now, and they tell you, there's one in the government who tells you, let your own bug bite you. So what it means here now is that don't let no white man take no advantage, exploit you or oppress you. We could let us oppress you. Let a black man oppress you. And that is what they have instilled in the minds of the people. And they're taking advantage of the poor black people in this country here. That is what is taking place. That is what they're educated. They believe that they're educated. They went to university. They qualify. They have everything. And therefore, what they do, they look down on the poor ones. And they treat them like, you see it with CPEP. When you have floods and you have hurricanes, what normally would happen is that those people, the most vulnerable people, those are the people who have to stay home and look after the children. They're living on hills. They're living on riverbanks and all that. You just call them out just after the storm or even during the storm to go and clear up this and clear up that and clear up that. They don't care about them. They don't care about poor people. They don't care about those people who they believe are lesser in the country, in the society. That is what is happening. They have an army there. You have an army. You have soldiers there. They are the ones who have to go out. Those people have no right to. They have to look after their family. Some of them live on hills with landslip and all kind of thing. Why they take advantage of the poor? Bring the army out to go and clean up the place. And it happens all over the world. It happens all in the Caribbean here. You have these people and them. They are not. Some of them are living little shack they're living in. But after hurricane, before they stay home to probably clear a drain or probably knock 2 pieces of wood at galvanize here, you have them all outside there. That is how they treat the poor people. That is how they see them. They're up there. They talk down to them. they embarrass them, they humiliate them. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Boy, I don't know what country we in. I really don't know what we living in for our country. I don't know, boy, because I can't understand. You know what a man tell me today, Archie? Hear what a big man tell me today. A man tell me today and say, boy, I have no problem with property tax, you know. I say, why, boy? He say, boy, because I living in a one room. He said living in a one room. He say, it's them Indiana, them we have big houses, them go out there. You, boy, I really. So what I gather from that statement is that he intends to live in a one room for the rest of his life, and to keep his children in a one room for the rest of their life.
But it's a very retarded statement. Very retarded statement.
Is your dotage that
because if the business community have to pay big property tax, it indirectly passes on to him.
Exactly.
Take a call.
Exactly. Welcome, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, the salaries that is being shown here are the perks and the benefits. The question is, are we getting value for money? And if not, what exists in the Constitution other than voting them out every 5 years? What is there that we can use to remove them or replace non-performers? And this is where the discussion has to go. What are the methods outside of protesting a placard where police might brutalize you, or you might find yourself on the other side of the law? What is existing within the Westminster system that we can use now to actually get a change before the election date? And this is where the discussion has to go. So we don't just have to point the finger at people and say, well, everybody's sitting down and nobody are doing nothing and they're taking whatever we get in. We have to look at what is available to us, that we can use it wisely and effectively to get the effective changes that we want. And this is where what we have to discuss. So I will listen off here to hear that.
Thank you, caller.
You know, I love that question, boy, Victor. Yeah. That is a very brilliant question. And you know what? I want the legal people who outside there to help us with that answer. Because Victor, you see that question he asked there? We really can't wait around for elections. What he really asks is, what redress does the average taxpayer have to deal with these kind of salaries? Are we getting value for money from these type of salaries that are being paid? And we cannot just wait 5 years to just vote out these people. But what sort of legal redress is there available to us? You know, there's something, I don't know, somewhere, somehow I feel a conscientious legal person outside there could get some form of redress. You see, all these things we are continuously talking about in these shows, you know, man A declare on this form, on the form B, and all these things. I mean, we say it is downright illegal, but the only redress the average man have is to vote these people out. And that is not even redress, because we know they're tinkering with the EBC, they're in control of the EBC. So really and truly, the average citizen have no say in anything, is just take that, eat it, hush up.
And that is the facts, Archie. That is the fact of the matter. You, the average citizen, have absolutely no say into whatever decision a government take, except the avenue that you have, the opportunity that you have, the redress that you have at this point in time is to come out and shut down the country. You have no other redress, none whatsoever.
But
that is what is available.
is sometimes you are being suppressed and oppressed by the police and the state still even when you
Archie,
do that.
how many police, what is the percentage of police to the volume of people in this country? So don't tell me that you're going to be suppressed by the police. If the people in this country get up and demand a fresh election and stand up against the government, it will happen.
In the past, and even presently, some people have reached positions where, by all means necessary, even in the past, even 10 years ago, whatever, where they have reached positions where they have to resign. And they'll tell you, I'm not moving. And they sit down there, and that just goes on. So we don't know if there are really are things, but what kind of law enforcement or legal enforcement we have, because they just tell you they're not moving. Look what happened with this woman with the how much $1,000 release. Some people there now need to resign right now because of the wrong that they do. And if you bring it up to them, they'll tell you are not moving. That has been a slang. That was somewhere around in the 80s there too, that the I'm not moving slang. The other thing I want to raise, I want to make what the other caller talk about, was that I just want to be brief here with something that talking about how you call it, when the state cares about. We had a friend, a guest, back in the 90s when Abu Bakr took the coup. And the person was from an exchange student. And something happened that every time I think about it, I just get emotional.
Thank you, caller.
When the Baccarat was going on, we got a call. The person came from Guadeloupe. And Guadeloupe is considered a province of France. You know what happened there? The lady got a call that France is sending a plane in the airport with soldiers to pick up the citizens. That is a country I could dead for. Arrest me case. Have a good week.
Thank you, caller. Actually, let me add some meat to that discussion. When we're looking at legal redress in relation to what is happening, what legal address we will get when you have a whole law association, the majority who support and lying attorney general, a law association who voted for a man who breached the code of ethics, a man who lied in a foreign jurisdiction, a man who can be charged with perjury. How would you get redress when these lawyers continue to support wrongdoing? How would you get redress when you have a judiciary with a chief justice with serious allegations of misconduct, and because of a prime minister, he continues to sit in that chair as chief justice, having the prerogative, the authority to remove any judge to sit on any given matter, whether it be in an impeachment matter or otherwise? What redress we would get when the whole institution is corrupted? So the redress that we have at this time is for the people of the country to stand up and demand fresh election in this country and hold every government accountable to the Constitution. We have a president. We have a president who conspire with a prime minister and a president of a police service commission, and through the whole police service, not only the commission, the whole police service down the drain. The whole police service. Because out of that breach, we now have a police acting idiot commissioner who will take instructions from the political directorate. So where are we going? Where are we going? The whole regime, it's corrupt. And therefore, the redress that the people of this country has is to come out, stand up, and demand fresh election. And let me tell you something. No amount of police, soldiers, Coast Guard, all the law enforcement put together cannot stop the country from demanding fresh elections. The Constitution gives us that right. The Constitution provides for us to take that action. The Constitution provides when there is a government who will not uphold law and order. We the people of the country, has the authority to demand by shutting down the country. That is the only choice we have.
Well, I see people went into the savannah to protest, just like what you're talking about, and they get tear gas in the Rukuku Tung Tung. And not just get tear gas, they beat up some of them. We have videos on that. You was right there. They beat up people, lock them up, throw them in the van, throw them in jail. And I'll tell you something. You know some of them cases don't exist anymore. Our good friend Brian Stone, who was beaten up, thrown into that big van, lock up, and there's no case. There's no case.
Arch, let me tell you something, my brother.
He don't even have a day in court.
Let me tell you something,
when he
my
went to
brother.
court, his name not on the list. But we saw videos of him getting beat up, thrown in the bus, locked up in jail, and there's no case before the courts.
Brother, let me tell you something.
Tear gas. People get tear gas.
Brother, let me tell you something. 1970, people stand up for what was right despite what was the consequence. People die in 1970.
Yeah, but the government didn't fall. The government stayed in place.
But the policies change. The policies change. And today, if the people in this country stand up and demand this government would change, because let me tell you something. I have seen bigger countries with more weapons and more tear gas and more. I see some fire truck, some riot truck they call them. When they spray water here, they're licking down 500 people down the road. And I saw people stand up against those things, against those elements in other countries, and government crumble. Prime ministers gone, presidents gone. I have seen it recently, right in England, right in Sri Lanka, right in Haiti. I saw people stand up.
In them country, when your head get bust and you get licked down, they have hospital to go to.
Brother,
we are no hospital here. If you go hospital, you ain't getting no care.
Brother, let me tell you something. You have to care about the future of this country. You have to care, because if you ain't care, then sit down home and don't complain. Sit down home and take what you're getting and don't say nothing. Sit down home and pay the taxes. Sit down home and care mind your children. Sit down home and care send them to school. Sit down home and let the police kill them because they will have a thief to survive.
Well, Victor, the way you're talking there, you have some kind of plan to take some kind of action. The way you talking there, it's sounding like you planning some kind of protest action or something.
Brother, I always planning protest against the tyrannic government that we have in office. I always planning protests against the injustice of this country. I always planning protests to move my people from the poverty level. I always planning protests to stand up for the poor, the oppressed, and the downtrodden in this country. I will stand despite what is the consequence. I will stand. And that is why I stand to prove it. I stand alone, and I don't afraid to stand alone. Actually, I get shot standing up, you know. I get shot standing up, you know. I ain't get shot going and thief, you know. I ain't get shot going and rape, you know. I ain't get shot going and do anything illegal, you know. I get shot standing up as an independent candidate in this country against the PNM in Labre. And that didn't stop me. And that will never stop me as long as I have breath in this body. I will fight for the poor, the oppressed, and the downtrodden. Because the wealth of this country is not the government owned. The wealth of this country is not PNM owned. The wealth of this country is not even UNC owned. The wealth of this country is the people's own. And we have to stand up where there is injustice and ensure that justice prevails. Our government must never get away on scale with the level of corruption, thievery that is taking place in this country today. And on top of that, they're still implementing hard measures and harder measures to break the back of the people of this country. In this country today, what is existing for the young people? What is existing? People speaking about the young people only want to turn to crime and the young people don't want nothing. That is only old talk. Welcome, caller.
Hello, good night.
Yes, sir. Good night. Go ahead.
Long time I haven't been on this station. You see, the people at Trinidad and Tobago is taking the slap from this government and spit upon, and nobody doing nothing about it. The man said that how 20-something thousand people vote for him, Trinidad and Tobago, the people are stupid, 20-something thousand people vote for him, and he don't know none of them, and he's still in office.
Right,
and he's
caller.
still in office. You understand? And I don't understand why we taking all this dotishness from them. The Bible says that God said, if you do it to one of these, my brethren, you do it to me. So he's spitting in God's face and he's slapping God all the time. And he don't even realize that he and his cabinet. You understand? And I don't know why we have them there. And he say again that he ends subsidizing to no board for nobody to go and hand their wife in Tobago. I want to know the money in Trinidad and Tobago what taxpayers have to pay back is Rowley on. Rowley and his government ain't paying a cent, but they're behaving like if this money in this country belongs to them. Hello, it's time for we to get them out of this place. You know, I don't understand why we taking all this nonsense from them. Have a good night.
Thank you, caller. This is reality, man. We are in a place in this country that if people don't get up and stand up and take the necessary lawful action to stop this runaway government, what you think will happen to your children? What you think will happen to your grandchildren? This is not about Victor Robertson. No. This is about all of us. This is about you. This is about the future of your children. You sitting down like if it's some wonder bag that is taking place and you dip in your hand and you pull out, and when you pull out something it ain't good and you're hoping to pull out something that will benefit you. There is no benefit for you under this government. Welcome, caller. Go ahead, caller. There is no benefit for you under this government. This government taking every action, implementing every policy to destroy your future. Every policy. Welcome, caller.
Yeah, call back. I'll call back.
Go ahead, caller. You don't see caller, Chi? Go ahead, caller. Let me go at you. We have time to waste. We're almost to the end of the program. This is serious business, people. This is serious business. Stand up in your house or if you're in your yard and call your little children and watch them in the eye and ask your children if they are satisfied with what is happening in the country. Ask your children that tonight. Every child that you have who have reached the age of accountability, who have sense, ask that child if they are satisfied with what is happening in this country. Ask them. And while you're at it, ask that child if they are pleased with you, mommy and daddy, for not standing up against what is happening. Ask your children, because they are the ones who will pay the cake, you know, not you. They are the ones who will feel the burden from what is being implemented. They are the ones who cannot provide a home. Welcome, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Roberts and Mr. Archie.
Yes, sir.
Why is
Good
it
night.
an outsider who come to build a property here doesn't have to pay property tax, and we, the people here, have to do this? Can something be done about that? I find the anthem, every creed and race, find an equal place.
Them should be paying tax like everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Them is who would be affected, people. The same little child that you're saying, mommy love you, daddy love you. They are the ones who will be feeling the pain and the agony because you refuse to stand up as men and women in our country. Because you refuse to stand up and take up your responsibility to defend your children against any form of aggression by our government. You refuse to stand up to protect the future of your child because our government looks like you. You refuse to stand up to protect your children simply because the government color look like your color. That is what you reach through in this country. You will sell the future of your children for the Keith Rowley government. You will sell the future of your children for Alwari and Stuart Young. You will sell the future of your children for Kazem Hussein and Rohan Sinanan. Answer the question. You talking about black government. You will sell your children for them. You will give up the right of your child education for them. You will give up the health care of your child for them. You will give up everything for them. Boy, all you have to be sick. All you have to be sick, people. This is a government, ladies and gentlemen, who will stop at nothing. They will surrender at nothing. You have to make the government do the right thing. You have to make the government obey the Constitution. You have to make the government obey the laws that they make, the laws that they draft, the laws that they pass, and in this case with only simple majorities. And you have to obey, even though some of those legislation requires a 2/3 or a 3/5. They break the law. They break the law because of a speaker who will give them the right away. Because of a speaker who drink everything that Rowley have to offer. Everything. And yet they continue to escape. And you continue to operate like a bunch of chickens. Because why I said chicken is that Rowley administration, they are bringing you to the point where wherever they drop a corn grain, you will have to follow. And very soon we will be fighting for that corn grain. We will kill each other for that corn grain. My call to you is, let us stand up against that. Let us stand up and demand that the government obey the law first. We have our citizens in prison for breaches of the law. We have people who will not see bail for breaches of the law. But yet, to the end of the day, we will support a government who break the law, a government who should be in prison. Because worst off, they create the law and yet turn around and break the law. But they punish us for breaking the law when they break it and go unpunished because we refuse to stand up as a people and hold them accountable.
Victor, local government elections coming up in a couple months' time. What if people go and vote back PNM? All this talk you're talking.
Brother, my job is just what I'm doing, to help educate the people. Their job is to stand up for what is right or lie down for what is wrong.
Yes, the Silver Fox here.
Go ahead, Fox.
Yes, Victor, what we have to do in Trinidad to start to get rid of Rowley, we have to have Baptists start walking back the streets and ringing bells. I think it's something wrong. I think it's something wrong in the country. The Baptists and them have to start back ringing bells and keeping prayers at certain junctions and things. Because it is alleged that a Baptist woman tell me, it's alleged that when Rowley go away, is evil he does be going about, right? And it is serious because I don't understand how the people in this country is just taking everything just so something is not right. Something is wrong with the people. Something is wrong. The people under a spell, they're under a spell, because they're not fighting back for their own self, and a person who not fighting back for their own self, something is wrong. Something is wrong, Robbie. Thank you.
Thank you, Fox.
Even while I was praying in my bathroom, I was debating with God. I said, God, this Obia thing that you talking about, and this necromancy, and this reliance on ancestral spirits, and hereditary spirits, and marine spirits, and aquatic spirits, and serpentine spirits, and all kinds of things. I was saying, man, that's opposition behavior. We in the PNM don't get on with that. And right there and then, I get a deep conviction in my spirit. I am standing on the authority of God, and I am saying to you this evening, the Holy Spirit tell me that PNM people practicing necromancy too. I'm telling you. I'm putting it to you.
It's exactly what Fox was alluding to there just now.
Fox, greater is he that is in we than he that is in the world. Let me say it again. Greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. So therefore, I rebuke every action of this evil government. Every action. They could walk necromancy. They could bathe in ancestral spirit. They could do what they want. They could ring the bell. They could drink the blood. They could flip upside it down. They could walk on the head. Let me tell you something. We will fight the battle for freedom and justice in this country against all necromancy, against every evil, whether it's from Leketo or from Labre. We will fight against every evil, because greater is he that is in we than he that is in the world. So burn PNM and the necromancy. The people, you have to get up, you have to stand up, and you have to defend our constitution. That is our job, to defend the constitution. And when the constitution outlive itself, then we must have dialogue, and we must invite the country together. And then we must put measures in place to get rid of some of these evil that they use to rape the country of its financial resources, thereby raping you, the people, with it. That is what it is. What Shamfa Kojo lists? What she lists? 41 6660 6330 2000 12 360 268 47. You tell me something. Tell me something. Calculate it. Get your phone and calculate it. Look it on the screen. Check it out. And you tell me Trinidad and Tobago, but yet all this allowance and grant and traveling expense and tax-free on any Porsche Cayenne they want to bring in, who are 2 and who are 3, and who are Benz and who are Briggs and who are this and who are that, who are Mustang, who are what I name actually? Ferrari. who are Ferrari and who are Mustang and who are this and who are that and who are the other, and all you had to ride bicycle. So all you dotish in this country then. Why them ain't bringing a Mustang bicycle? Why they ain't bringing a Benz bicycle? Why they ain't import a Ferrari bicycle? Why they ain't ride around with a Prado bicycle? But they're telling you, don't eat pie. And convent girl might tell you it's high in cholesterol just now. Heinz tell you, you could get a triple bypass, take a bus and just go Mount Hope. Well, I am telling you tonight, it's too much high grade. Too much high grades. Too much education, Heinz. Too much education. You see that high grades? All the time. You want to get an A plus, and an A plus, and an A plus. Too much high grades. When you get bites, so you just get dotish. And when you get dotish, you just talk stupidness. And when you get stupid, you just try to put your thumb between your teeth. And when you put your thumb between your teeth, you just become like a European slave master. I could only imagine, Heinz, if they put a whip in your hand, but you beat people till the back burst. Minister what? Minister what? You supposed to be minister tutu water. That's what you supposed to be. Minister of tutu water. And I want to apply to the president. When they're giving out awards again, you see the man who kicked that tutu water on Heinz, he must get a national award. A national award he must get.
But it is alleged they kill him. They give him it posthumously.
So actually, you read on the papers a couple of months ago with the police, where they say the police kill him. That is so actually, so all this talk I talk, and I talk about Officer Samaru, and I talk about the boys who expose the strong stocky man. So you ain't understand what I really saying actually. You ain't understand. I tell you, those who expose the PNM and those who fight against the PNM, they will destroy you. I tell you that. Welcome, caller.
Hello, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Go ahead, caller.
You know what I don't like with these PNM people? This PNM government, you do a rundown and next party. You do bar talk and next party. And you see this woman who does be on the radio that they call Aisha Welch. Aisha Welch is getting money from some PNM person. So she's talking stupidness in people's head. The Minister of Education, she don't know she work. So she come back in Tobago and she could plant some garden to get the feed herself and teach her away. And the Minister of Finance, them supposed to go to jail and sit down and the men play with them in jail. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Archie, douglAR Politics tomorrow, please, God.
douglAR Politics, live from Atlantic Studios tomorrow at 7:30.
So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for douglAR Politics tomorrow.
Not tomorrow. What today is? Boy, I lose track of the days now. Today is Friday. Yes, tomorrow is Saturday. yes. Saturday.
I don't have the, you know. All now is supposed to be in Palo Seco with
all
you.
Now we're supposed to be in Palo Seco cutting ribbon for the library office.
Yeah.
But the leader who really wanted to attend this, you know, and this is the difference. He was talking, nobody can't. Rowley, there's only other people.
Yeah.
But your leader called you and asked if you could postpone so that she could attend. That is leadership.
To the max. So douglAR Politics tomorrow. douglAR Politics tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. sharp. The Honorable Senator Arnold Roberts will be in your company, continue to bring you the facts and what is happening in our country. Tomorrow, Saturday, press conference, Sunday morning.
Sunday, 10:30 on the dot.
10:30 on the dot. Stay
Live
tuned.
on all the networks. And Monday night forum. Might be a special Monday night forum, but it will be on at this Monday.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's where we will leave it for today. Thank you for understanding why we had to postpone. It's simply because of the late sitting of the parliament, where the leader and others would have to attend, and therefore we had to do what we have to do, and that is the reason why we did what we did. So stay blessed, stay loved, be safe. I know you know that you are in a long time. We used to talk about, you know, the concrete jungle when house only building all about, but these days you are in the wild, wild west. It's not house building all about, but it's shots firing all about. And it seems as though that Hines and the government have no solution. The appointee, the PNM appointee that they have at the helm of the police service, well, he is just like another balize blowing with any wind, left, right, center, backward, forward, bend over, whatever. So you know that there is no hope. I am calling on the citizens of this country, let us stand together, let us stand in serious solidarity with what is happening to the future of our country. The future generation will pay the full price of what is happening, and therefore I am calling on every citizen, let us stand together and demand fresh election in this country. The Constitution gives us the right to protest, so I am calling on the citizens of this country. Let us embark in serious, holistic, legal protests to ensure that the government is accountable and that the government adhere to the Constitution. Stay safe, stay blessed. Good night. I gone.
Code, a mafiosi code. We keep each other's secret. It's only when you break rank, you go there and expose us, and for that, we're going to kill you politically. It's the code of the Cosa Nostra. As long as we stay together, we will survive together. And we agree not to breach the code of secrecy.